Having a physical body is a really important part of the human experience, and you really need to work as a team with your body and listen to it, because your body always tells you everything that you need and everything that you need to know. Our bodies tell us when they need rest, they tell us when to eat, they tell us when to use the bathroom, they tell us everything that they need. Things like physical symptoms and chronic pain are things that are getting your attention to something that you need to address and heal. But I think something that's really common is we start to disconnect from our bodies because of the discomfort of having a body and feeling pain. So if you feel like you're out of touch with your body and you're not in tune with these signals and knowing what your body needs, that's probably because you've kind of disconnected from it and tried to rise above it and not feel the pain and the things that it wants you to feel. But if you can really tap into your body again and listen to its signals and take care of it and give it what it's asking for, life becomes really easy and really enjoyable, because your body is such a great guide and it's always telling you what you need to do. If you experience fatigue, if you feel tired, if you're depressed, if you're unmotivated, that's your body telling you that it needs rest. It needs you to relax and to not only rest physically, but also to get out of a state of stress in your brain so that it can recover from whatever it needs to recover from. But a lot of times when we experience fatigue or a lack of motivation, we kind of freak out and we think we shouldn't be feeling this way. And we think, I live in a capitalist society, I can't rest, so something must be wrong with me that I'm feeling this way. And you ignore what your body is telling you. You stress out about it even more, which is the opposite of what it needs. Maybe you get a diagnosis and then you are limiting yourself because of that diagnosis and in an even worse state of stress. And then the symptoms will continue to get worse and worse until you address the core issue. But a lot of times I think people just don't even realize what the core issue is. Our bodies know how to repair themselves. They're amazing at healing themselves if you can get out of the way. When you get a cut, it literally heals itself. That's like magic. But your body is just not able to recover when you're in a constant state of stress. Your body needs you to relax in order for it to repair itself. And a lot of times dealing with chronic illness, we just don't relax. It ends up being this constant cycle of stress instead. I think that our bodies are always alerting us to what we need to heal, and they're alerting us to the emotional healing that we need to do, because although everything is physical, there's also an emotional meaning behind everything. And so fatigue means that you need to rest, you need to get out of a state of stress, you need to slow down, you need to give yourself a break. Things like chronic pain and other symptoms, any other symptoms that you're experiencing are a reflection of whatever emotional blockages you have that you need to work through as well. So if you are continuously having pain in one area or having symptoms in certain body parts or organs, look into what that organ or body part is associated with, which chakra, and what emotions block that chakra. Different organs and body parts are associated with different things, and work to heal these parts of yourself and release these emotions. And you can literally just set the intention, just ask the universe, be like, hey, I need to heal my throat chakra, please help me to do this. And it's going to give you all the answers you need. It's going to guide you to do whatever you need to do. Just listen to those intuitive hits that you get and follow your intuition and follow what you want to do in each moment, and you're going to be guided to healing. That's what happened to me, and I went chakra by chakra, and it was just crazy the way things unfolded and the way the universe answered all my problems and gave me all the solutions to them. Our bodies are literally these amazing guides that we have in this lifetime to tell us what we need to heal, what needs to be worked on. But I think that sometimes we get so uncomfortable from the pain, from the emotional pain, the physical pain, that we start to disconnect from the signals instead of realizing what they're trying to tell us. Once I actually released my shame and grief and allowed myself to feel them and listen to my body and was in tune with my body, I now experience a level of peace and health and happiness that I didn't even realize was possible. I keep thinking that I'm gonna experience anxiety if I'm in a stressful situation, or that I'm gonna feel sad if something bad happens to me, but I really don't. I experience them at such a subtle level now, and I think this is the way that we're supposed to live, but a lot of times we have these blocked emotions, And so situations in our life keep triggering these wounds so that you can address and heal them. I just wanted to clarify, I still experience negative emotions. I'm not just like spiritual bypassing. I very much experience the full spectrum of emotions, and I'm very in touch with my emotions. But I used to experience them at such an intensity because I always ignored them and because I had these trapped emotions in my body. And so I think that my body was trying to get my attention and make me have to address it. But sometimes we just don't know that that's the step that we're supposed to take. And also, when you repress your emotions, your body thinks that you can't handle pain, that you can't handle negative emotions, that you can't handle negative experiences, because when they happen to you, you literally disconnect from the experience and you don't actually lean into the pain and allow yourself to feel it, which if you can just do that, it will heal it instantly and it won't be affecting you in the future. And so I was able to feel these old emotions that had been trapped in me since childhood and finally release them. And so through that, my anxiety has completely gone away, and the way that I experience emotions is so different because it's just not bad, it's not difficult, it's just not at an extreme intensity, because the second that I feel a negative emotion, I'm very present with it and I really give it my attention and figure out what it needs and like what it's trying to bring to my awareness. I don't think it's necessary to suffer as a human for the rest of your life. I think if you can heal the core wounds, then life becomes a lot easier. And that's what I'm experiencing now. And so I think we have these physical symptoms and mental symptoms because they're trying to bring awareness to a wound that we need to address. You can try to ignore the signals of your body, you can try to ignore the pain. I think it's just going to get to a point one day where you can't ignore it anymore. I know that's what happened to me. I would go through these phases where I would try to push through, ignore the symptoms I was having, and then it would get to a point where I couldn't ignore it anymore. I was not functioning like a normal human, and I had no choice but to address it. And maybe you think, I can't rest, I have to work. I personally think those are just limitations that you're placing on yourself. I think there's a way to get out of every situation. There's a way to meet your needs in every situation. And you don't want it to get to a point where you have no choice. But even when I couldn't work, even when I had to quit my job, even when I was so sick and my health insurance ran out, the universe still gave me everything I needed in order to be comfortable and to work on my health. And even though it seemed like I was in a really bad situation and that I was gonna run out of money and all this stuff, I had to get myself out of that state of stress in order to heal. And I had to literally brainwash myself and be delusional and believe that everything was gonna work out. And it did. I had really bad brain fog for so many years, to the point that I literally got an MRI because I was convinced I had brain damage. My memory was so bad. It was so hard for me to have conversations. It felt like I couldn't understand what other people were saying. Like, it felt like they were speaking another language. And for a long time, I really thought something is permanently wrong with my brain. Something is really damaged. And I feel like my mind has been completely restored now. I think that brain fog happens because you're just not able to think straight and store memories and things like that because you're in such a state of stress. There's something called abuse fog as well, which is essentially brain fog that happens to people after abuse. And again, this is because you're in a chronic state of stress as a result of the abuse. And so this amount of stress is preventing your brain from functioning optimally. So literally the solution to everything is getting yourself out of a state of stress. I really thought something was horribly wrong with my body. I thought my brain and my body would never recover based on how horrible my symptoms were. And it just wasn't the truth. There was actually nothing wrong with my body, or if there was, it was able to recover once I got out of that state of stress. And so even if you have a diagnosis, if you have something wrong with your body, our bodies naturally repair themselves. They know how to heal themselves. And in changing your environment and changing your mindset and changing your habits, your diet, all of these things can turn different genes on and off and help repair your body. So if you're dealing with physical symptoms, if you're dealing with chronic illness, it's just your body trying to tell you what you need to heal and trying to tell you what to do and guiding you. And so if you can just start listening to it, honoring what it needs, giving it what it needs, paying attention to what it's telling you needs to be healed and what it's telling you is in pain, you can heal physically and mentally, and you will feel better than you've ever felt in your entire life. And I'm just speaking from personal experience. I didn't even realize this level of happiness and peace and health and energy was possible. And you can literally just set the intention to heal whatever you need to heal whatever chakra you need to heal, and the universe will guide you to heal that through different affirmations, meditations, sound baths, life experiences that help you to release the pain and be present with the pain, just different information. There are so many ways that everything just happened so serendipitously and led me to all of the answers that I needed and all of the healing that I needed. And experiencing heartbreak and actually allowing myself to feel that grief was so healing in so many ways, but also it made me experience unconditional love and understanding for everyone in a new way, and made me feel so much more connected to everyone, because I always thought that most people cannot understand the pain of having a chronic illness, and that's somewhat true. I mean, they'll never understand like all the different ways that it causes stress in your life and the physical symptoms and sensations that are so horrible, and just all the different ways it negatively affects your life. But I realized that the pain of chronic illness is grief, and it's the same feeling I got from heartbreak. And I realized that everyone has experienced grief in their life in some form. Any type of loss can be felt as grief. So even if you haven't lost someone, if your parents got divorced, or if you had a major life change that upset you, or you moved, or you had a heartbreak, all of these things create grief. And so I realized that actually I am so much more connected to everyone than I thought, and we're all having a very similar human experience. We're all having the same emotions. Everyone's experiencing shame, everyone's experiencing grief, everyone's experiencing fear, and we can all really relate to each other and understand each other. And I used to think that people who had happy, healthy families also would never understand me. And obviously there's levels to it, but again, we all still experience the same things, and we have this same core wound of needing validation, and everyone feels rejected by their caregivers or by peers in some way at some point throughout their life, I think. And so we all have the same wounds. I mean, maybe there's like a handful of people out there who are just born without that, and I'm hoping I can do that for my children, but we're all a lot more connected than I realized. And through my grief, it helped me understand that more, and it helped me have more unconditional love and understanding for everyone.